do you mean? Why are you commenting on my shit? You know, like, you don't, because it could be easily flipped on you. So it's like, what are you doing? A lot of people agreed she was not the asshole. I don't think she was the asshole. I think, though, that this woman, if she does have autism, I think she uses it as a crutch. Because she's like, you know, because even the brother's like, oh, well, she's just saying stuff. That's just how she is. And it's like, if she hasn't learned how to be in a setting, like, then she needs to. Because who the fuck wants to hear you look ugly? Because the first thing she said to her when she met her was, that outfit doesn't cover your stomach. Who says that? No, hello? No, how are you? No. Oh, that top's nice. That doesn't cover your stomach. Your cheek. Yeah. It's like, that's back-to-back shit. And it's like, what? Who possessed you? Like, read articles on group, what's it called? Etiquette. If you don't understand social things, read articles about it. Oh my god, it's like on the interwebs. It's not that hard.
Yeah, as like, usual, there's some some sort of weird gap and like fissure between the social skills here, and expectations and stuff. And obviously, this autistic woman in question, or whoever, is it a guy or a girl, that's making all these weird comments, needs to. It's an impasse, right? It's a fork in the road. Either you keep making you keep acting like this, and you have to sort of, make your bed and lie in it, right? People are going to want to engage you less, right? Or you engage a little bit more in understanding, the social etiquette of things, and then you can have more friends. So.
Well, it's not even that. It's like there's also, you can compromise. You can be like, oh, I may not understand. Let me read on it. Let me educate myself. Because I may not understand.
Yeah.
But, so, you compromise on that. You don't just, because if you say rude shit, especially, that was the first time she ever met her. You don't say that to a stranger. Like, imagine when we were first dating, and, like, I met your mom, and I go, that sunflower shirt's unflattering. Like, you don't say that to a person you've never met. That is unbelievably, like, what the fuck?
Yeah. But of course, like, we do live in a world where, like, like a lot of, like, older women talk like that, right? Like, a lot of older women do just, like, every young girl knows, like, when their, like, mom or grandma or someone has made a comment about their appearance, Like, so...
And those are things that you roll your... I've learned to just, like, out the ear, in the ear, out the other. Because I've had so many. Because I grew up, I'm a very curvy person. And so I grew up where quickly my body became uncomfortable from my older relatives. It shouldn't have been, but it did. So I've had to kind of field it and just be like, well, do you want me to be insecure? And they'd be like, no, you should be happy in your body. And they'd go, okay, so then why are you commenting on it?
Right. Playing with ultimatums and stuff. Yeah.
I give them that. I'd be like, well, if you don't want me being insecure, then why are you commenting on this? If you don't want me... So I would sit there and I'd make them think about the comments. So I'm like, why are you commenting this with me? So, like, with her... Because at that point, she had thought that the sister-in-law was nice. She's like, oh, the family's just blowing it out of proportion. They're misunderstanding her. It's not coming across. And then that's the first thing. And then she calls her cheap. That 5-year-old loved that bubble gum. I don't think... He loved it. Whether it was cheap or not, he loved it. He's 5 years old.
Yeah.
You don't need to get him a PlayStation 5. Alright, he's good. With that bubble gum, if you loved it. And then you go to her son's birthday party. This kid is 3 years old. I just want everyone to understand, the kid is 3. And you're already And so you sit there and you call this kid fat.
I mean, 3-year-olds are I had to grow out of my, because I was tall, I grew tall. Yeah.
Another video.
I think so. I think I did.
Man,
No, but here's
fresh status though from Am I the Asshole, because normally you get like wedding shit.
Well, no, but here's the deal. Like, also, let's keep in mind the kid she gave the bubble gun is 5, correct? Her son's 3, so her son's even younger. And this woman had the audacity to go, aren't you feeding him a little too much? Like, do you just get progressively mean the younger the child gets? Like, the next
Jeez.
thing she's gonna look at this baby who turned 6 months and be like, you're still on the teat, aren't you, you little slut? You know, like, she's gonna, like, the younger the child gets more, because it seems like that. Like, the more the child gets younger, the more she just, like, is viscerally rude. I don't know, it's one of those things where it's just, like, no wonder why no one fucking likes you. It's not because you're artistic, it's because you're a fucking asshole.
Artistic?
I said autistic.
It sounded like artistic.
Well, you need to get your ear holes checked.
I do, actually.
Okay, here we go.
It's refreshing to see a status that's not about marriage.
I know. That or about, like, people, like, cheating on each other or open relationships. I'm so tired of seeing open relationships because I know that how they end. The husband
it's usually like, and it's weird, man. Well, because the thing about these open relationships that fall apart, right? When they do it as like because they always do it as like a backup to spice up the relationship, and it's like, that's not good, you know? Like, there needs to be like, you know, because what it is you'll have like a relationship and it'll start off monogamous, and then what ends up happening over time is, you know, there's some sort of burnout of the flame, and then they're like, okay, well, we need to spice things up. So what do? Other than, you know, get a bunch of new babes or something into the mix, and inevitably, you know, it goes well for a little bit, but then what happens is the new woman and the current GF end up like getting along better than like the woman and the husband, and then like, I don't know, I would be very different than these guys. Like, it's so different what happens there. And because one of the things too is usually it's like all along maybe the guy had some kind of poly like ideations, and the woman I think doesn't, and then feels like, oh, this is him kind of trying to live out a fantasy, and it's like, yeah, no shit, and you know, like, and so then she ends up taking the new girlfriend and hightailing it out of there. Yeah.
Also, sometimes, but majority of the time, it's what happens is they just had a kid, and the husband can't wait to have sex. And so he goes and he's like, or he's like, oh, you're taking care of the children that I helped create? That makes you less attractive. I think I need to explore more options. You know? And then he ends up, you know, having already cheated, or he opens up the like, they always pressure the wife.
Yeah.
It's never about them actually being polyamorous, is that they feel they're missing something. And they feel like they need to explore more, and then they get mad because then the wife gets more dick or pussy than them.
Yes.
And they're like,
yeah.
no, I close the relationship. And it's like, well, and then the wife's like, well, I'm exploring. I'm doing what you wanted to do.
That's actually super true.
You know, and so it's like, so then they get mad because they thought how it would go down is they could have sex with other people, have a marriage, and the wife would just sit there dutifully and not ever have any inclination. And it's like, that's not how that works. Open marriage means open marriage. You can't close it because your spouse is getting more.
Yeah.
You wanted to not have sex with yourself.
Yeah.
And you wanted to sit there and pretend to be single. Well, then go and be single. Leave the relationship.
Yeah,
Why are
like
you
a
over-
lot of dudes have this weird harem fantasy. I mean, base harem fantasy. But what they do is they end up acting out like some kind of